All right, guys, let me know you guys if you guys can hear me now. Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me now? Let me know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me now? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys hear me? Guys, let me know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Okay, good. All right, guys, thank you so much, guys, for joining my live today. Today I'm pretty excited. I'm very excited. It's gonna be an exciting live today. Possibly short and spicy, just kind of like to the point. Before I get into anything else, obviously, guys, let me go ahead and big up the chat really quickly. And just to say, guys, on your way in, just go ahead, you know the deal. Just like, share, and subscribe to the channel while you're here. J Empress, I saw you from the very beginning. Thank you so much for being so early, showing up and showing out. Thank you, Bad Dark Skin, for being here. Thank you for your continuous support, Bad Dark Skin. I appreciate you. You, Miss World, thank you so much for being here. Miss World said present. Let's see who, as I go down the line. Rick One said, big up yourself. I think you were able to get that question answered. Not yet, Rick one said, but I do have Zelle. So if you have access to Zelle and you want to support the live, you can feel free to go ahead and do so. Big up yourself. Bam Bam one side, big up yourself. Thank you for being here. Rick, I think Rick made a comment earlier that really had me laughing. I wanted to point it out. Rick said he was on vacation. Yes, so Rick said he is on vacation, vacation settings in Grand Cayman. Big up yourself, Rick One Side, for letting us know that. One Sicker King, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here on this live today. I saw John Wick earlier, my bad brother. From another mother, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here, John Wick. Big up yourself. One Yardman, big up yourself. Thank you for being here. That's is that Magma, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here. I also saw Marshall earlier. Big up yourself, Marshall. Thank you for being here. Big up Bags, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here today. Wayne Roberts, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anyone. I don't think I have. Everyone, just big up yourself and thank you so much for being here. 1 Yard Man, I am at 412 subscribers. So once I am at 500, then be I will have access to super chat. So at that point I will be monetized, and then obviously the aim is to grow to 1,000, and it goes on and on. Yes, so I will have access to super chat once I am at 500, and I'm at 412 right now. Island Girl, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here. One Murder, thank you so much for being here, guys. I appreciate you being here. All right, guys. So today, what's on the agenda for today, as you guys would have seen from the topic, tea time with Mellz. Guys, I literally had my tea earlier. My cup is empty, but welcome to tea time with Mel today, where, as you can tell from from the topic, from the heading, finally the youths doing it right. So what does that mean? What does that mean? So as you know as the one said revolutionist that I am co-signing this new generation, right? Let me say that again. As the Mellz one said revolutionist that I am co-signing this new generation, right? And co-signing this new generation, obviously, we know that the future of dancehall cannot only be on the back of one individual artist. Guys, Masika cannot bring dancehall by himself, right? He's gonna need other people there with him as front runner, as he lead the genre forward, as we know, right? So the future cannot only be on him alone. And by co-signing this new generation, you know, I don't know about you, but I am getting to see where the youths are doing the right thing, and while there's still room for improvement, I just want to kind of bring that forward. So today I want to dive deep into, I want to, dive into, a little bit of that today. I'm not sure how long this live is going to be. Could be an hour, could be a little bit over an hour, but let's see how it goes. And we kind of like tread the waters as we go forth today. Ozine Boss, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here today. So I posted a small clipping, guys, of Shawnee B interview where he was interviewing Masika. I posted last night on my page, and I posted just a little clipping of it. But I'm sure if you guys had the opportunity of actually watching the entire interview, and if you haven't seen that interview, I would definitely recommend, and I would definitely suggest that you guys can go ahead and watch that, or rewatch it, that Shawnee B's interview where he was interviewing Masika. In my opinion, it was a very short interview. I would have hoped for it to be a little bit longer, because I just thought to myself that there was just so much more things that could have said in that interview to kind of like, give us more detail, because we love to see Masika speak, and we love to kind of like tap into that energy whenever he speaks. So um in that interview, something specific that I want to point out, is relating to Masika in that interview about the future of the youth in dancehall, and the guidance and correction that is needed for them to thrive. And I know sometimes we may come on this, on this platform as vloggers, or even so, even somebody coming up to the panel, and sometimes we may come and we may talk about, all the negative things that an artist is not doing, and all the stuff that's been happening negatively in the space. But we have to look on things two-folded and understand that there's always two sides to things. And if we can come and we can talk about the things that are not happening, or the things that we hope to see happening, when the right things are happening, we want to be able to speak on that too, because it's only fair. You know what I mean? So again, I'm co-signing this new generation, and I want to spend some time today reviewing a song that is trending in dancehall right now. Last night it was at 73K when I was like literally listening it on repeat, and this morning it's at 84K, and it's still climbing. So, and I want to stress on still climbing, because I possibly checked it maybe an hour ago and it was at 84K. So which means it's possibly, maybe, it's going to be higher than that, because it's growing significantly. So that song is no other than Najiri, Still Standing. A lot of you guys, I played it earlier as my one of my intros into the live today, and a lot of people, they were able to relate to it. um one Sika, one Sika King was kind of like talking a little bit about it, that literally it's the technically the baddest song that has released for the year so far. And I won't and I wouldn't argue with that. It's a very, very, very beautiful song, very soulish song. So I can definitely relate to that one, Sika King. So that is the song that we're going to be looking in today, and we're just going to talk about something a little bit on the side, outside of the song. It's a great song. And I'm just here thinking as to, because I know that there's a lot of songs that has been released for the year thus far. And I would say this could possibly, to one Sika King's comment, be the most impactful song that has been released for the year so far. Right? It is the most impactful song. I like to be fair across the board and try to choose my words wisely. But I would say it is, let's just put it out there at it is the most impactful song of the year so far. And as far as when we talk about hits and when we talk about substance, this is it. Thank you, Bigger Bags, for that comment. Bigger Bags says, the revolutionist, big up yourself, my sister, love the progress. Thank you so much for that, Bigger Bags. Thank you for that. Yeah, so Double Down, yes, it's the most impactful, and it is, you know, this is something that we are looking forward to, or this is a song that we're looking forward to, to become an even bigger hit than it is right now. And as far as when you talk about hit songs, this is what we're looking for when we say hit song. When we're talking about music with substance, this is what we're looking forward to. So we're gonna dive deep into the song. I mean, I played it earlier on as my intro in for those people who are just getting in. But we're gonna talk about the song a little bit in its entirety today. Again, bad song. I love see the youths them, stay true to themselves. So many favorite parts for me in this song. So I'm just gonna like take my time and go through like my favorite parts of the song. So one of the parts that jumped out to me was when Najiri said that bad man shed many tears, you know, but I'm still standing. That literally speaks, a lot of volume to me because again, you're out there in the streets, and especially as an artist, especially as somebody who is supposed to be tough and is supposed to be not shed any tears. You know what I mean? It kind of like show for that, based on what he's saying, that even though he may not shed tears, right, he's still standing. He's still up for the fight. He's still pushing forward to be what he needs to be. So that kind of like jump out at me when it says bad man no shed many tears, but I'm still standing. Another favorite line of mine is when he said, throughout the thick and thick, you know, man no stop grinding, Jah guided. I man account his blessing and live them one by one. So that to me, it literally, says a lot's happening, and these are things that we can relate to. A lot of things might be happening, a lot of things might be going on, but at the end of the day, we know that the righteous and heavenly Father, he guides our steps, and regardless of what happening, there's still things that are out there for us to be thankful for. So as a result, you know we still account with blessing, and we account them one by one. Another line for me that really stood out was when he said that never switch, never shake, never go out of my way. And that is something very, important for kind of like, not kind of, but a very important thing to be mindful of. Sometimes when things are not going the way how it's supposed to go, when things are not going the way how it's supposed to go, it's so easily to switch up and change, because it's not working out. Father Gore, big up yourself. How are you?
Oh, I pray, man, morning. Many never, but just tuning me, we know what topic it's about. But through me a drive and me now can text me, so me just
You
call
just
in
call in.
and give a one shot and yeah, and you all go on at the same time.
Yeah, man, we just do a quick review, based on the song that Najiri he dropped a day ago, which is now trending. And easily one of the most or if not the most impactful song of the year so far that has been dropped. So we kind of like I go through it. I know from time to time we tend to come to the space at times and we kind of like, talk about the things that are not happening right, or the music that is not right with the public, or that is not exceptional. So when we see something exceptional, I want to be able to, I can speak for myself. I want to also be able to come out here and speak about when the music is doing well and is exceptional, especially when it's coming from a
To the
younger
youths.
generational artist.
Yeah, yeah. Me not know this song though, so me, me not know two cents to say that. I mean,
Yeah,
even know
that's
this song.
fine. I mean, that's
Yeah.
okay. But I mean, in your spare time though, if you want, you can listening to it. It's called "Still Standing" by Najiri. And if you want, I can send it to you later on. I can send it to you, that way you can meds it. It's
Okay.
literally trending right now, and it's really inspirational, and I wanted to talk about it today because we're gonna see how it kind of like tying back to Massacre, especially a younger Massacre, when he started out, and why we were so inspired, and why his music was so impactful. So we're just reviewing the song today, and
Okay.
then we can take
Okay.
it from there. you know
Okay. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So everything blessed otherwise though.
Yeah, Father God, I'm good, and I'm good.
Come never stay
I'm
another
doing
place.
well.
Okay. All right. Well,
Just taking it
we'll go and
easy and
listen.
just counting my blessings one by one.
Okay, that is it.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right,
me,
big up
me, me,
yourself,
me,
Father
me,
God.
me, 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 me get a listen and hear what I go and hear why it impresses you so much.
All right, no problem.
All right, cool.
All right, Father God. Thank you.
Yeah. Hmm.
I see some new people in the chat right now. Perry Dunn, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the swamp. Life application, manners and respect, everyone. Life application, big up yourself. I'm not sure if you're new to this channel. I don't think I've seen you here before. If you are indeed new to the channel, just go ahead and click subscribe to the channel. That way you can tune in for more tea time, with Mellz, and you'll be able to be a part of our, conversations, or just anything in general that is there to post any update. Right. So for those who just joining the conversation, we're getting into that song that Najiri dropped a day ago, that's entitled "Still Standing." I am going through like my favorite parts, about the song, and we can get into a whole conversation about it. You guys feel free to call in, and you guys can share your feedback, as I am sharing my feedback based on what speaks to me in this song, and why I love it so much. Big up yourself, Sexy Chef. Thank you so much for being here today. Yeah, so just kind of like, repeating what I was saying earlier, throughout the thick and thick, man no stop grinding, Jah guided. I man account his blessing, and name and live them rather, one by one. Right? So a very deep and impactful message there, to really to talk about. At times there's a lot. What I get out of it is, a lot of times things might be happening, in your life, or whatever the situation may be, and it seems like you might have a down moment and you have nothing to be grateful for. Possibly in some instances you have nothing to live for, but as every single day is always a blessing, another opportunity. And as you go through those blessings and those opportunities, you just want to be mindful to count those blessings and just live them one by one. So really, that was easily one of my favorite lines from the song. Another favorite line of mine was when he said, "Never switch, never shake, never go out of my way." And I think a lot of people can literally relate to that sentence, where sometimes things might happen in a life and you want to switch up in a some way, shape, or form, or you can even want to shake in a some way, or form, based on what people think about you, what people have to say. You probably, in a sense of, maybe you're scared, or whatever the issue is. But through it all, you just have to make sure, say, go out of your way. You get what I'm saying? Just kind of remember who you are, and kind of push towards that, and just remain true to your identity, true to self. You know what I mean? That way you kind of like remain focused and not lose your way. Another line that I enjoyed from this song was when he said that daddy say you are pro from your know logics, right? Daddy say you are pro from your know logics, right? And we all know, what logics, is, it's about information. It's about, in the knowing, in the know, right? Because if you're not if you're not in the know, then it typically make no sense. So it's like in our today day and age where we know that as far as information is increasing, knowledge is increasing, and it's not just about what you know, but it's also about how you apply what you know. And we can know, but it's also to have that sense of understanding as well. So I just wanted to, to put that out there, and that was one of my favorite lines from the song. Something else to point out is when he said that, he's when he said set your own pace and don't copy. You know what I mean? And for me, this one is really dear to me in the sense where, like, you always want to make sure that you set your own pace in whatever you do. You don't want to, copy. You don't want to do what a next person is doing. It's the sense of having your own ideas and to be able to, to put it out there, to light. So I love it when he said that, set your own pace and not rushing things too. Sometimes we tend to want to rush things, but slow and steady at times, always win. It should always be about, you know, um, striding and not striving type of thing. So it's good when you can take your time and run the marathon and versus sprinting and you fall over. You get what I'm saying? Because when you run the marathon, it takes longer for you to get tired. So that line really, speaks to me, as in setting your own pace and don't copy. And then another line of mine is when he says spot the fuckery and attack it and get it over with. And we know that that can mean a lot of things in so many different ways, where, you know even in our daily lives, where sometimes that you see certain things happening, right? You see certain things happening, you kind of have, mindfulness of certain things that's been taking place. Or, you kind of like, tap into certain intuition, and you kind of see like certain things happening from early, and you want to just make sure that you're paying attention to those things, and you're on guard when it comes to those things, and you want to attack it right away. Sometimes you have certain people, they might see what's happening, they might see what's going on, and as a result they may not do anything about it. But I love it when he said that, spot the fuckery and attack it and get it over with. And when he said, obviously, count my blessings and live them one by one. He also made mention of count them, stay potent, no stressing out, bro, live in at the moment. And we can all relate to that, as far as sometimes we tend to like stress out and kind of think about the past or think about the future, when really and truly is we need to be living in the moment, right? Living into the moment and focus on what we can control and not focus on things that we cannot control, right? So it's living in the moment and handling things now, getting things out of the way that needs to be now. So it's all about the now and not the past or the future, but more so the present. So I love how he spoke on, you know, staying potent and not stressing out and living in at the moment. Another line of mine is when he said that "me don't stop." He said without it, he said me are the chosen. And when him say, "me see who jump ship when it frozen." So that was really so, that those two lines was really, something for me to really look into. Big up yourself, clean and fresh. Thank you so much for for congratulating me on my 400 subscribers. Thank you for that. Black Star Boy, I see you in the chat. Thank you for joining the live today. Yeah. So if you guys are just here joining, we're just going over that song from Najiri, who is now trending. Big song, guys. I literally had to come today and I want to talk about it. I want to talk about that song and kind of like point out some of my favorite lines from that song, and basically what I, as an individual listening to this song over and over, what I gathered from this song. One Sika King in the comment section says um he said, Bumble Crocodile Najiri, find it. Me listen this song over 50 times since release. Exactly. I listened to it a whole lot of times. One Sika King, and I know that. Again, like I was saying earlier, last night when I was listening it, like on repeat, it was at 73K. And now this morning it was at 84K when I was listening to it again. So it's definitely climbing, and it's literally there under my I can, as I'm here talking to you guys, it's literally right, like right up there. Right up there, I can literally see it and click on it at any time. Literally it's at 85K, right? So it's a big song, it's a big song, and I, if you guys have not listened to it yet, I would definitely recommend that you guys would go out and listen to the song. It's really 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 a good song. Marshall said Najiri seems to be conscious of himself and his place as a young artist. Yes, definitely, Marshall. That's something that I gathered, and I was gonna talk about that a little bit later on into the conversation. Very conscious, and has, he's on the path of self-discovery, and it's good as he's discovering himself, and to be able to dig from so deep within himself to kind of like put that music out there. It really speak to us. It really does speak to us. you know um I want to just continue with some of my other favorite lines, and then we kind of like can have a whole like conversation about it, or about the song. All right, so he also mentioned that, him says, stick to the plan. I'm never doubt the process. Right. So that was another line for me that really stood out. And I think that was my last line for me. So stick to the plan and never doubt the progress, or the process rather. Yes, so Nigeria definitely have us aware with this song. Most definitely, you are a reminder that every ghetto youth is a king, and every black man a king. To Marshall comment, earlier, he seems to be, very conscious, and with a song like this, it will have me tap into his music more, because I definitely want to see where he goes from here on out, as far as dropping a banger like this, and to see what path he remains on. But very conscious, very conscious. This song is a start of something greater. That's what I would say. Again, substance, quality, depth. It's very soulful, and I'm very proud. It's a very proud moment in dancehall, and it's a very proud moment for me, especially since I'm advocating for this newer generation, and to hear this song, it really stood out for me. you know so this one is definitely on repeat. And again, as far as when we talk about trending song, and we talk about hot song, and song that doesn't comes from only the surface, this is what we're looking for, what we're looking forward to. These are the type of songs that we're looking forward to. So I just want to kind of bring it forth to you guys today, and kind of like talk about why it definitely speaks to me, and kind of like tie it back to how Massacre kind of like fall into place, as it relates to you know tying both him and Najiri together, like how both of them kind of like speak to us and speak into this generation. Let me just see. I'm going through the comments. Yeah, definitely one Sika King. Yes, you can see the Sika inspiration in this song. Yes, most definitely. You said everything about this song perfect for me, no fault. Yeah, I don't have any fault either as well. Even in the video, as you can see the crown on the leg reference, the blindfold, reference. It shows you that, for me, that is on a much more deeper spiritual, level. Seeing that blindfold, it kind of like speaks to me that you don't need your physical eyes only to see, but you also need your spiritual eyes. I love it. I love, the singing in the background. That was something that definitely, speaks out to me, like him being with the kids and they're singing. I love it. The floor nice. It's something different from what I've heard in a long time, from especially from a newer dancehall artist. It's really, it's this song is really a force to reckon with. And for anybody we have anything negative to say about it, is just straight. I don't know what to tell you. I'm not gonna use the word bad mind, or I'm not gonna say SYM, but anybody who have anything negative to say about this song, them really need to like really check themselves. Big up yourself, Cedric. Thank you so much for being on this live today. Cedric said, "Song powerful, Froggy could have never find, I guess, could have never sing something like this. So inspiration. One time I listened to the song for no say it a hit. Definitely. And that's how it's supposed to be, Cedric. Once you listen to it for the first time, it doesn't even have to be the entire song, a few lines. You should know within yourself that it's an automatic hit. Song with substance, and again, it's just for the listeners to do the right thing and kind of like let it stream out a little bit more. But it's definitely a hit song. I definitely agree with that. Big General said, "Bad man has shed many tears." Yes, that's a very powerful line, Big General, and that's easily one of my favorite lines from the song. It tells me about get a product, and we kind of like can tap back into and tie it back to Massacre, where we know that he was, as we would say, a ghetto product as well, going through a lot of things, in life from a young age. And I can tie that back to Najiri as well. Lot of mistakes, a lot of areas of opportunity, a lot of things happening, but at the same time, they're willing to stay grounded and not losing sight of who they are, and just kind of like be, you know, be proactive, and just staying grounded and staying true to themselves, discovering who they are. And I always say it, and I will die on that hill, that in order for an artist to thrive, especially in this new era, or this new generation, they need to tap into themselves first. Tap into themselves, that way they can simply like you know know themselves first, and to be able to like conquer what else is outside of themselves, and to be able to conquer things inside of the music world. you know Everybody know that when it comes to self mastery, it's all about mastering oneself first, and then you'll be able to master anything, or anybody else around you. Massacre, I'm an artist until my bone white. but since but since white, this is my favorite song from any dancehall. Music me love. Me no love man. That most definitely one Sika King. And when we love the music, we can definitely separate it from the man. Having the understanding that again, to my point earlier, that one person alone literally cannot hold up dancehall. It's a collective effort. And of course I know that Massacre would definitely approve this message. And in fact, he did approve this message. I couldn't help but notice that when the song dropped, Massacre did made a comment to say, bad youth. So which tells us that talent knows talent. You know what I mean? And the day when we're one dimensional, that's the day that we are biased and we're not true to the music and we're not true to the genre. And I just think that a whole lot of times we tend to come on this platform and we tend to talk about all the things that are not going right and the things that are happening negatively in the musical space. So it's only fair that we can come today and we can all have the same understanding, or we can all have the same conclusion that there are artists out there that are doing their thing, and Najiri is one of them, and we want to see more from him in the future as it relates to music of substance, because of course this is what the culture needs. So how can we tie this back to Massacre again, guys? The same depth of soul, soulfulness when he started out, when he captured us from, as we would say, from that Get Up, project, while hungry and ready. And I'm just ready to take on the world, and just kind of like discovering who they are and to be able to tell that story. So I would definitely kind of like tie those two back together in that regards. Again, Get a Product, hungry and ready, and taking on the musical world without losing sight of who they are, staying grounded, understanding too that along with the self mastery that Massacre definitely had, and I can literally see that into the video that Najiri, he tapped into himself as well. You can only write music like this, guys, when you tap into yourself. So as far as Massacre is concerned, Massacre found out who he is, and he tapped into that power. And I can say that Najiri is on that road again for discovering himself. We heard Massacre and we were inspired, and we could definitely relate. So it's the same story in the song for Najiri. He captured us, with the well put together lyrics, the soulfulness, all of it and in between. And we approve it. And again, I just want to say well done to Najiri on that regards. All right, guys. Okay. All right. Anybody have any other feedback or any other thing that they would want to add to this song? Let me just read through the chat a little bit, see what's going on. Dwight Taylor, I don't know if I showed you out earlier, but big up yourself and thank you for being a part of this conversation today. Marjorie, big up yourself. Thank you so much for being here. All right, guys. I just have just a little other update, and I think that's just that would be it on this conversation. Just to tie up the review of that song today. So as we know that all eyes are on the WYFL rhythm as it expands, And I don't know if you guys had gotten the chance to see Wayne Wonder. He hopped on the rhythm with his edition, with a redo from his rendition, which is so refreshing. He redo his song Informer, and I'm definitely here for it. I'm definitely here for it. I don't know if you guys have gotten the opportunity to, to hear that song as yet. Marshall say a lot of people won't support the song because he's young and the song isn't degrading. Well, that's true, Marshall, and that's the reason why, you know, he just have to like double down and just kind of stay, not kind of, but stay true to himself. Because I did see a couple of negative reviews about the song, but I know that more than likely they probably were Gaza fans, because obviously you know that this artist, he endorses Massacre. He's a Massacre fan, obviously, vice versa. So I, that was a part of the concern. But it's only natural though. It's only natural when it comes to younger artists that's, that's doing something different or doing things with something with substance. It tend to sometimes rub other artists the wrong way, but that's just how it is. Masika have always stayed true to himself and not losing sight of that. So I know that Najiri is smart enough to kind of like not losing sight of that also. Joker said from Faggy jump on the rhythm, it get boring. And then for some people to have the nerve to say that him take over the rhythm, which is, I don't know how them even get to that. Like how can this man take over the rhythm where him not even, you have little artists with a hotter strategic lyrics on the rhythm than he ever has. Sean Spence, big up yourself. Thank you for being here. Sean Spence, I don't know if I've ever seen you here before, Sean Spence. But if you're new here, go ahead and click the like button. Go ahead and share and subscribe to the live. That way you can see whenever I'm going live or whenever I post, you guys can be up to date. Yeah. So the rhythm is expanding, and I am not mad at the Wayne Wonder on the rhythm, that rendition that he did. I'm here for it as well. I also couldn't help but notice. Oh, okay. All right, big up yourself, Sean Spence. Big up yourself, big up yourself. I also noticed, guys, that from the rhythm, another expansion from the rhythm was Hood Celebrity. She entered the chat. And I know some time ago we had spoken about the mere fact that we need to see more females on the rhythm, and it was good to see Hood Celebrity. She was on the rhythm with a song entitled Watch Bracelet, Ring and Chain. This she's I've been listening to Hood Celebrity for a while. I mean, obviously have not been like keeping up with her or anything, but I've known a couple of songs that she has done, and for those songs that I know, they have yet to disappoint me. So to see her jump on the rhythm, it was really refreshing on the female side, not really singing about their vagina and all of that stuff. It was really, more of, a lyrical conversation, or more, more lyrical on her part. Um, so shout out to Tina for that song that she did, aka Hood Celebrity. On that song, if you guys have not heard about it yet, you guys can go ahead and you guys can listen to it. Alrighty, let's see. But I love to see it though, guys. I love to see it. I love to see it. I don't know if you guys have any other feedback. Again, this live was not one of those long ones. Big up yourself, Annette Morrison. Big up yourself, ODS. This live was not one of those long ones. I was so inspired by the song. I wanted to come and kind of talk about it. That song that Najiri did. It really spoke to me. So I wanted to come and really talk about like my favorite lines from that song. So I don't know if you guys have anything else to add to the conversation, but I just want to thank you guys for being here today. If you guys have not checked out the song as yet, I do recommend that you guys can go give it a listen. It's really inspiring. It's definitely a banger, and you will be able to see it for yourself. Easily a song that will be on or is on repeat. It's called Still Standing. Go and support, as we're all in favor of the newer artists, and we're all in favor of the newer generation, as we're thriving to get dancehall back on the path that we want it to be on. Marshall said to take away from the WYFL is it needs more female, and also no new upcoming artist isn't on it. That's true. That's true. And as far as the female, obviously I'm a female. I double down on that part of the statement. Definitely. We need to see more females on the track. We need to see them going out there and doing their thing, not necessarily talking about their vagina, but music of substance that the people can relate to. All right, guys. So I think this is the end of this conversation, just doing that review and just kind of talking a little bit about the WYFL rhythm, based on the expansion of it. This live was more so to kind of like get into the song that Najiri dropped, and just kind of like get you guys' feedback based on who have listened to the song thus far. And if you haven't, you guys can take the opportunity to go out and listen to the song. Yeah, so thank you guys so much for being a part of this short conversation today, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, guys, thank you.